Well, the 5 Democrats seeking a seat in Pennsylvania's House debated in the ABC 27 studio today, right here. This is for Representative Patty Kim's seat in the 103rd District. Sarah Wilson has our recap tonight.
5 Democrats, 1 district, and over a dozen topics.
I'm a pro-choice, pro-public education, and pro-union Democrat.
I'm a progressive candidate. I believe that I'm the best candidate.
Nathan Davidson, Mercedes Evans, Laura Harding, Jesse Minoski, and Tina Nixon on stage debating things like crime.
Raise your hand if you support ending cash bail in Pennsylvania.
Legalizing marijuana and bipartisanship.
Nothing will get done unless we are committed to working together.
Topics like education.
This is very, very personal to me.
Every candidate opposing school vouchers and arguing that public schools like Harrisburg are in dire need of cash.
We have a fair funding formula in Pennsylvania, where currently only a fraction of public education funding is funneled through that formula. Increasing that to 100% is how we will equitably fund our school districts.
It's not enough to just fund the schools, but there needs to be money restored that has already been taken out of the school districts through the charter school funding.
And it shouldn't matter what side of the river you live on or what your zip code is to receive a quality public education.
Next up, affordable housing, or a lack thereof. A solution, some argue, includes increasing the fair funding caps.
I would look at how we can enact a savings, some type of savings plan for individuals who are first-time home owners.
And creating incentives for developers.
Property values are so low that even market rate apartment complexes need some sort of subsidy. So we have to expand the incentives like tax abatement and low interest loans.
Right now, that cost analysis doesn't make sense for a lot of developers, and that's why we don't see that prevalence in our area.
Every candidate wants a higher minimum wage, with 2 seeking at least $20 an hour.
Our wages haven't kept pace with inflation.
If we increase the minimum wage to $10 or $11, there would be no negative impact. I don't see why we shouldn't start there.
That $15 is just the floor, and it should be raised higher than that. But we cannot shock our small businesses and put people out of business.
Candidates agree on election reform, like open primaries and same-day registration.
We have too far extremism in our electoral process to date. Extremist candidates are making it through this primary process and getting themselves on the ballot for the general election, where voters may not have a real choice in the matter.
And more people are registering as independents or no affiliation, and I think they should be involved in the voting process.
I do want to touch on one other thing, which is campaign finance reform. We currently have no limits on contributions in Pennsylvania.
Crime discussed as well. Some want tougher gun laws.
Ending our gun show loopholes, making sure we support red flag laws to support domestic violence victims, to make sure guns are pulled out of that equation, which often end in deadly consequences.
You know, every week, every other week, we're talking about some youth that has been killed by gun violence. We need to have the conversation about gun violence and making sure we're doing background checks.
I would start by investing more in evidence-based community violence prevention.
Sarah Wilson, ABC 27 News.